2, 3, swag!
Hey yo, what is up everybody? It's B Militant. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host here on the Redskins review. And you guys, we just got done watching the third preseason game, the Washington Redskins versus the Atlanta Falcons. And the Redskins are finally victorious in the preseason. Not that it really matters, but the team played a lot better. And in the last couple games, you know, people have been saying I've been a little too negative. But the thing is, I was upset because we didn't really see any facet of the football team come out there and look good, like the offense, defense, special teams. No one really came out there and just was like, had a dominating game. And in this game, I think if you had to like pick on one thing, the special teams was, made the plays of the game. Robert Davis and I forget who else. They got muffed punts up off the ground and helped us score points. So it's looking a lot better. We're looking like we're playing a lot. We're gelling more together. So, and also there's other things like injuries. We didn't really, from what we can tell, Jordan Reed possibly had a concussion or he was in concussion protocol. We don't know for sure yet. Got to wait and see what's up with that. And Darius Geis looked great. Not great, but he looked good enough and makes me really excited to see him. If all of our running backs stay healthy, we even saw some Chris Thompson. Our running backs looked good this game, and even the running back who came in at the very end, sorry I forget his name, but they were talking about him a little bit. He was, I guess undrafted and stuff like that, and made his way to the NFL. He looked good too. So all of our running backs looked good today. Samaje Perine had some hard runs. He had a touchdown. Our running backs really came out today, and we already know Adrian Peterson's a beast. Don't need to worry about him. But with Adrian Peterson, Geis, how he played today, Chris Thompson, man, that's loaded. But Samaje Perine, just in case we need to give our other guys a break if we're winning by a whole lot, we have Samaje Perine that can come in. It's looking up, man. That's going to be how we win football games this year. Yet again, Case Keenum had a fumble. They ruled it a fumble, not an interception. Right? Didn't they say that? Later on in the game, they came back and said that, they ruled it a fumble because his arm was coming forward or whatever. But, hey, our offensive line, they did a pretty good job today. Way better than they did in the past couple games before. But, still, Case Keenum had pressure. He just held onto the ball way too long. Case Keenum's going to do that type of stuff too, man. We don't have, none of our quarterbacks are, world beaters as of yet. That's what we're hoping. Dwayne Haskins had a pretty good game. I don't know why, but when Dwayne Haskins first came in, we seemed like we weren't even going to give him the ball. We just kept running the ball. I guess we wanted to see some looks with some of our running backs and our offensive linemen. I'm not sure, but when Dwayne Haskins first came in, I was like, are they going to let him throw the ball, And then Dwayne had a pretty good game. And another thing I want to say about Dwayne is that when the Atlanta Falcons player got hurt, we saw Dwayne Haskins take a knee and pray for that guy, and that's stuff that I like. I don't know why people think that I don't like Dwayne Haskins. I'm just skeptical, man. That's it. There's, like I said, the more that I see of Dwayne Haskins, the more I'm liking. He's getting better over time. The first preseason game was pretty bad, and he hasn't been making those types of mistakes. And I like some of the things like when he didn't connect with Robert Davis in the end zone. You saw him smiling. He was like, "Man, I almost had that," or whatever. I like that type of stuff. I like to see a little bit of character and stuff from him. I think his entire preseason, he's just been getting a little bit better. Another thing, Robert Davis has been around the football. And that's the thing is Robert Davis has to make the team. Cam Sims came out, had a decent game. And we're looking at the wide receiver position, and it's just Josh Doctson did have one catch today that I can remember, but it's just we have Robert Davis out here playing his tail off on special teams. He's gonna do. He has so many more roles for this football team than Josh Doctson will probably play. I just don't really like Josh Doctson. And Mr. Hokey came into my Twitch stream today, and he was talking about that apparently we've been trying to shop Josh Doctson for a year or whatever. I'm not sure where he got this information from, but I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He hasn't really done much for us, and then not even that. To be honest, I forget who it was, but they commented on my channel, and they were like, one of the last couple of videos, they were like, we've been utilizing Josh Doxson wrong, and as much as I hate on Josh Doxson, the guy who commented, he's right. Josh Doxson isn't a just slant and catch the ball type of receiver. He's like a throw the ball up and let him jump up over people, red zone target. Like we're not using him the right way. Like we're forcing him into a mold that isn't really him. Now, granted, NFL receiver needs to do all those things, but I understand like what the guy's saying. We're not playing to Josh Doxson's strengths, and I agree with that. And as much as I don't really like Josh Doxson that much, I will admit that. I'll agree with that. But still, there's just other people. We have Cam Sims making one-handed catches. We have Robert Davis with multiple touchdowns in the preseason. It looks good. He's fast. He's not injured anymore, and almost got another touchdown today, and was in there on 2 muff punt plays on special teams. He's hustling. He wants to make the team. You know what I mean? And I'm just not sold on Josh Doxson, and I think the spot could be used for Robert Davis or Cam Sims or whatever. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with all that. But yeah, another solid day from most of our starters on defense. I think our defense played very well. Landon Collins is a beast, dude. If someone wants to see like how to tackle someone, textbook's definition, go watch Landon Collins. That guy is a beast, man. I'm very excited to see Landon Collins play this year. From the very beginning of the game, he was just all around the football, and when he gets a hold of you, you don't get away from Landon Collins. You just don't, man. And I'm really stoked. I've been very critical of Bruce Allen and the moves that this organization's made in the past like couple years or whatever, and we're making moves like going out and getting Paul Richardson, and it's just like, who's excited about going and getting Paul Richardson? That's another Bruce Allen like trying to save money move. When we got Paul Richardson, I knew that nothing was going to pan out with that. Paul Richardson, and if you're thinking that Paul Richardson's going to do something this year, you're fooling yourself again, dude. Paul Richardson's not. You can be hopeful if you want, but I'm not going to. That type of move to me is just like a penny pincher. Like let's give this guy a chance and see what he can do. But it's just like going out and getting Landon Collins. That's we know what we're going to get, a high level football player. Yes, we had to pay money for him, but we know what the dude's about. We saw it again today. The guy is not going to let you get away from him. He's going to tackle you and do it textbook, and he's going to be all around the football. And then that's what I'm saying. Like then we have guys like Paul Richardson who were just like take a flyer on and be like, hey, maybe this guy's got something left. Hey, maybe this guy, even though we're not going to pay him a lot of money, no one else, there's not a huge market for this guy. Maybe we can get them on a cheap, and then when we build, they're trying to build a team full of these players like that like, hey, maybe they'll come together and they'll work well together. No, man, we need people like Landon Collins who are going to show up and be exactly who we want them to be. And yeah, I think our defense played pretty well. Our offense all preseason hasn't blown me away. It just hasn't. I mean, our running the ball, we've done pretty well. Adrian Peterson, when we get into a full game and let Adrian Peterson run for a full game, I think we're going to be a much better offense. Case Keenum still doesn't, wow me, but he's just a guy for the job this year. You know what I mean? Like I said, I like Dwayne Haskins. I hope he's the future of the football team. But I just want to see. I just want to see him sit a year and watch someone like Case Keenum make mistakes and learn from it. The kid's, he's got everything. It should just make him want to play more. Even if he's not the starter and he's sitting there watching Case Keenum play for 1 year, it should just make him want to study and prove everyone that he is the starter. It's just going to help him out. And not even that, like on the play that Case Keenum had today where he fumbled the ball, he's got pressure in his face. Sure, he's holding on to the ball, but our offensive line ain't all that right now. And people want to put the kid out there, Haskins, and I just don't want to see someone's career get destroyed before it's over, kind of, by him just getting demoralized by, we have a tough schedule coming up at the beginning of the year, and our offensive line doesn't look all that great. At least Case Keenum has been through so much football in the NFL that, he normally knows when to throw the ball away and stuff like that. But young guys who are game, like Haskins and stuff, they're going to try to make the most out of every single play and stuff like that. Now, I do give credit to Haskins. He has thrown the ball away a couple times in the preseason. And another thing I like about Haskins is, like someone said, he doesn't make the same mistake twice and stuff like that. And that's a good sign of a smart football player. And to be honest, I think he's shown that. He hasn't made the mistakes that he made, in the first preseason game. The only thing I will say about Haskins is he missed high over the middle of the field again today. That's my one. If I have to pretty much take like one criticism of him, it's when crossing routes over the middle of the field in 2 games in a row now. Just been missing high over the middle. I don't know what it is. I mean, people have said last week, oh, the receiver should have caught that ball. I mean, come on, man. Sure, but also, if Haskins is as good as he's supposed to be, you put that ball where it's supposed to be. The dude had like a good step on the defender. Why are you throwing the ball so high? You know what I mean? Like I get that. If the receiver can get the ball, his hands on the ball, yes, of course, you should catch the ball. But like, what do you got? What the dude to do? Backflip and just get destroyed while he's falling to the ground by the defender? Like, just throw the ball where it's got to be. Yet again, he made the same type of high throw today. Not worried about it. Like I said, let the dude learn. But our starting defense played very well. Really like seeing the starting defense. Montez Sweat was in there on a few plays. He was hustling around. It's good to see him. I don't know why, but I thought during the game Montez Sweat looked a little. The last couple games, or I think he only played last week. When I was looking at him, compared to the last week to this week, I don't know what it is, but I just felt like Montez Sweat looked bigger this week. I don't know. That probably isn't the case, but maybe it's just the way that the cameras were. I don't know. But when I was watching him today, like when he got after the quarterback today and everything, and they were like zoomed in on him, I'm like, damn, he looks a little bigger than I remember seeing him the last couple times, like in pads and stuff, which is a good sign. It's a good sign. Another thing I want to throw in there, I'm not worried about, I harp on the special teams and stuff like that, but I'm not worried about the Falcons starting offense. When we shut them down and then they go for a fake punt in the preseason, like, I'm not too worried about that. That's desperation to me, all right? That means they're desperate. They want to see. They went out there and went 3 and out, and they're like, man, we really wanted. The coaches are like, we really wanted to get some stuff on film, and we wanted our offense to have a good drive, and we want to see certain things, and we have plays that we want to call or whatever. We want to see this stuff. So then they're like, we want our offense to be back out there now. We don't want this to turn bad. So they went and did the fake punt. That's just a desperation move to me. Like, it's the preseason. Now, if that happens. Don't get me wrong, I still see the flip side of it. You should always be ready at all times for anything. I get that, but it's the preseason, and like these guys are desperate to go see a few more plays and see your offense and just get stuff on tape. It's desperate to me. It just comes off as desperate. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm gonna get into the notes real fast here. The Josh Norman. Remember when the Falcons kicker missed, and there's just this zoom in shot of Josh Norman like pointing at him and laughing and shit like that. I love Josh Norman. I wish we got, don't get me wrong, we're overpaying him for what he's been doing. He needs to get more interceptions and turnovers for what we're paying him. But as a person, I really like Josh Norman. He's a funny ass dude, and you can tell that he hustles and he loves football. So I really like Josh Norman, and that shit was hilarious. Oh yeah, and Case Keenum had another bad pass today. There was pressure in his face when it was 3rd down on I think it was our first drive, and he tried to throw the ball to Darius Geis on the outside, which was the right read. He was wide open. And they didn't really show a replay of it, so I didn't get to see if it was just pressure in his face and he literally couldn't throw the ball there, or if he just rushed the pass because there was pressure coming and he just made a bad throw. Either way, Case Keenum didn't play extremely well today. Jeremy Sprinkle had a really nice play today. That's exciting. We need people like Jeremy Sprinkle to step up. You know, since we've drafted him, we've been saying, look, this guy's got all the tools he needs to do something and help us out. And he just, had his ups and downs and hasn't really always been productive. And what I saw out of Jeremy Sprinkle today, I liked. Also on the interception play, which was ruled a fumble later on, McLaurin came in and tackled that guy really fast. He showed a lot of hustle on that play. That's noteworthy. Even if something bad happens, that guy he's playing heads up football. That's good stuff. After the fumble, interception, whatever you want to call it, Case Keenum comes back in and he rifles the ball into Cam Sims. Kind of shows, like, hey, I'm not going to let stuff get to my head. I'm going to still throw the ball down the field and, just come back from mistakes strong. Robert Davis and Troy Apke, that's who it was. Troy Apke actually recovered the muffed punt, but Robert Davis was pretty much there as well. And then I wrote, P. Ryan needs to tighten his damn helmet, man. I mean, I know the second time apparently it was a face mask that ripped his helmet off, but multiple times his helmet's coming off. Come on, man. Robert Davis gets another muffed punt, and like I said, there's not too much to go over in this game. I'm sure if you want to be analytical and go into all these plays and stuff, there is. But really looking back on the game, muffed punts were like the highlight of the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy the Redskins won. I'm happy the Redskins looked and played better than they did the last couple of games. We didn't seem to have too many injuries. Darius Geis looks good. Stuff like that. I'm happy. But really, it wasn't a very eventful game. You know what I mean? Like, special teams. Special teams is important, but still, not very eventful in this game. Cam Sims is showing up. He had a couple good plays. Jordan Reed went into the concussion protocol. Lumpkin fumbles the ball in the end zone, and it's a touchback. When I first saw that, it reminded me of when we played Baltimore like a year or two, whenever we played them last, and they did the same thing. They got an interception or something? I think off of Kirk Cousins or whatever, and the defender was running and like reaching the ball out, and someone knocked his hand and he fumbled the ball through the end zone, and we got a touchback instead of like a pick six. That's what that play reminded me of. It was, as soon as I seen it, you got to, like I said, I'm praising people like McLaurin over here for heads up football. Then we have Lumpkin, who's not doing heads up stuff. So probably the guy's probably not making a team anyway, but still, Etling or whatever, the quarterback for the Falcons, he was running the ball all the time. He he had nowhere to go with the football. We basically shut down all the passes from them. Our defensive line was getting after him. I feel like we let up on the run defense. Like, they were running the ball a little bit better when our second and third string or whoever was playing in the second half came out there. But we were still getting after the quarterback. He didn't have nothing to do. He's just sitting there running the ball to the outside all the time because he had nowhere to go with the football. We were shutting everything down. So that's a good sign. And that's pretty much the game. Like I said, it wasn't extremely eventful. I'm still way more happy than what I saw from the other two games. Still can't wait to see. I want to see more of Dwayne Haskins next week. I don't know when they're gonna come out and like for sure say like who's a starter or whatever, but I just want to see more of Dwayne Haskins. If he can play, at least another 2 quarters next week, I'm excited to see it. I want to see him go out there and have fun and throw the ball down the field. I feel like I said, I don't know what it was today when he first came in. We were just running the ball. It was kind of a bad feeling. Like, what, do they not want him to throw the ball or something, or they just want to get something established and help him out? I mean, that's a good sign too, but it was just a little odd that at the very beginning of the game when Dwayne Haskins came in, it was like run, and then it's just like I don't know, it just kept running the ball and it's like not giving him the ball. So it was a little weird, but then they did and it was fine. It was good. So that's pretty much all I have, man. It was, nice win. I'm stoked that Darius Geis was out there. Got to see the man back in action. You know, he's a fiery dude, and you know, you can tell that he took it to heart. That some people called him like injury prone and stuff like that, and you can tell that like he took some of the criticism that he had or whatever to heart, and you know, he wants to prove people wrong and stuff like that. So I don't think we're gonna see him next week, but yeah, hell to the Redskins, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.